Hello and welcome to the 99th Monkey News, formerly known as 50 Cent Tour of the Day. Today is Friday, October 18th, 2013. We keep hearing that there are good guys behind the scenes who are turning up the heat, and the good guys are going to win any minute. So, you know what? I hope that's true. Looking at the news, honestly, sometimes it's a bit difficult to believe that, but through history, many times at the very darkest moment, the light shone through the clouds and deliverance came. And from the hand of God, by the hand of God. And that can certainly happen because He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. From RT, we have this article, Pentagon to sell bunker busters cruise missiles to Gulf monarchies in $11 billion deal. Well, you know, got to keep that war machine stoked, right? So this should bring in a little bit of money for the government, right? You think we'll see any of that money? No, I don't think so. Here from the Free Patriot is an article, 2 more commanding military officials suspended pending investigation following dismissal of generals. Now this is from October 18th. So evidently these changes are still going on. There's a shift that's happening. And as a friend said, just because these guys are relieved of their official duties doesn't mean they can't still be carrying on good works behind the scenes. So just wanted to keep everybody apprised of that situation. Quite honestly, there is so much news today. It seems significant and relevant to me that I couldn't filter any of these out. And if I would have had each of these in a frame, my poor laptop would have absolutely choked. So I will have these links, but I'm just going to scroll through the list here on network blogs. Truth in Media, government program to control religious thought. And there's a question mark there. And there's a DARPA sign. Is the U.S. government working on a program to program the way you view religion? A whistleblower who has worked on that program says yes. So there we have that. As I scroll down. From Paul Craig Roberts' blog, Pakistan TV exposes bin Laden killing hoax and documentary exposes 9/11 official story. So some good information there. Just backup foundational information. Classic conspiracy truth, if we might call it that. From blacklistednews.com, 150 straight days. Treasury says debt stood still at $16,699,396,000,000. Every business day since May 17th, the U.S. Treasury has published a daily statement claiming that the federal debt, subject to the limit set by Congress, closed the day at this amount. So something is fishy. Either they weren't spending any money since May, which seems unlikely, or they're lying. You choose. Which do you think it is? Another article from Blackwood News, new U.S. charges in Blackwater shootings. I almost left this out because it involves, a certain number of people, and when we consider that certain number of people, it is rather small in comparison to the number of people being killed by GMOs and being killed by drones and killed by other aspects of the war machine and soft kill, but it is significant. At least, there are charges being issued, and if it happened in that instance, perhaps it can happen in other instances, and we can see some increase in justice. Another Blacklisted News article, the International Monetary Fund lays the groundwork for global wealth confiscation. So we evidently, with all the talk about Chase Bank and people wondering what's going to happen. Are we going to see wealth confiscation like they saw in Cyprus? Well, there's definitely that potential there. And here another from Blacklisted News. U.S. orders Wall Street Journal to withhold the names of implicated LIBOR manipulators after story already hits wires. So they're not wanting the names released. Of course, would you want your name released? And, these guys usually get their way lately with the press. So the press will probably honor their request and withhold those names, unfortunately. From Philosopher's Stone, Transhumanist Newspeak rejecting tech as dehumanizing means we want more. And this is another of those surreal mind twists we see continually now, cleverly embedded in a token release valve admission. So they tell us just a little bit, and then we become comfortable with that. Then they tell us a little more. It's the frog in the pot of boiling water with a slowly increasing temperature. From the Daily Sheeple, Obama wants you to ignore bloggers, talking heads, and activists. Sorry, I can't really read that without laughing. That's what he wants, and why would he want that? It reminds me of the at the press conference after the Boston Marathon bombing, when the people at the head of the room that were in control of what was happening were saying, "Don't listen to those other guys from InfoWars. Don't listen to them. Don't listen. Don't pay attention to their questions or our lack of good answers. Only listen to us." And wow, that is just so limiting, so anti-American, so anti-Bill of Rights. You go out there and read and listen to the very weirdest stuff you want, and you probably already are, because I know I am. Also from the Daily Sheeple, the speculative endgame, the government shutdown and debt default, a multi-billion bonanza for Wall Street. Not for nothing, right? Not for nothing. A little more about Chase here. Chase Bank begins move toward cashless society, will limit monthly cash transactions for businesses. And we don't want to beat that dead horse anymore, but just more information in case you need more. From Natural News, Ron Paul confirms U.S. empire will suddenly collapse like Soviet Union did. Well, if nobody gets hurt, that is fabulous news, and may it be so, in Jesus' name. Another article from Natural News, Obama administration caught in blatant software piracy script. Here's another almost joke, but it's true. Script powering healthcare.gov ripped off from UK company. And EFF had, the Electronic Frontier Foundation had an article about that, wanting to know if they're going to be prosecuted for piracy. Wouldn't that be, now that would be, I'd like to see that. That would be fun. More from Natural News, the must-see film of our era, Unacceptable Levels, exposes deadly consequences of toxic metals. So yeah, no, that's not our good news of the day, please. Natural News is a great source of good news for health, people seeking natural health, but also very hard-hitting, sharp-edged articles. Here's another one. Roundup is endocrine disrupting, cancer-causing toxin at parts per trillion levels. GM soybeans also linked to causing cancer. So if you're trying to eat healthy, you read labels. One of the things that I often sadly see on a label, and I put the product that I really want back on the shelf, is soybean oil. If you're buying products with soybean oil in them, very strong likelihood, unless it's organic, that the soybean oil is being rendered from GMO soybeans. And from Zero Hedge, guest post is a large wealth grab on the way. That's another Chase companion article. And EFF shares how to opt out of Google's shared endorsements. They're going to use your image and other aspects of your life to promote, basically to include in advertisements, unless you opt out. So, hey, if anybody's making money from your image, it should be you, right? Not Google. And the lie, device capable of disabling car and boat engines from 50 meters away in under 3 seconds unveiled. That is a bummer. That is really, no more good guys getting away, let the last second, and bad cops having to turn away from them, because the bad cops will be able to push a button and all you good guys, your car and your boat engines will be dead like that. From the Vatican Project, Rolling Stone, conspiracy theorists of the world, believers in the hidden hands of the Rothschilds. We skeptics owe you an apology. Yeah, they do, but there are a lot of people who I didn't believe years ago, and I owe them an apology. Aaron Swartz's brainchild, Secure Drop, launched to protect whistleblowers' anonymity. That's from Conscious Life News. And Peter Schiff article in the Activist Post, Peter Schiff exposes media lies about Janet Yellen. 2012, the big picture, Obama administration caught in software policy piracy at healthcare.gov. That's just another article about the same thing that the Natural News reported. And with that, I have reached the end of my saved networked blogs that I wanted to share. I told you that there was a long list. And this is the good news with which I would like to end. This is Divine Cosmos, David Wilcock's website. This article is titled, David Wilcock Explains Cycles of History on New Radio Show. What I actually want to say, it does have to do with the cycles of history. A friend is reading David Wilcock's book about, I think it's called The Synchronicity Key, and obviously you can buy it on this website. Yeah, right here. Here it is, The Synchronicity Key. I haven't read it yet. I don't even own it. But my friend who's reading it is very enthusiastic about it. And one of the things that he's excited about is that David Wilcock said that based on patterns from history, he believes that the cycle, the downward spiral cycle, has been broken, and he calls it the karmic cycle. That that the United States is not following absolutely the path that Nazi Germany and other nations have followed. And David Wilcock believes that that cycle has been broken, and that our end as the United States our fate does not need to be that of Germany becoming a Nazi country. And of course, to some extent we already are, but David Wilcock firmly believes that we are not going to share that fate of Germany in becoming a Nazi National Socialism, and we are not going to kill millions of people because of their race, creed, or other aspects of their lives that they are not able to change, or that they are able to change for that matter. He's definitely a proponent of freedom, as we all are. So I want to end on this note that many people believe that we do have a bright future ahead. We have to get through some dark times, and sometimes it feels like our times are getting darker by the day. But at least to those who are aware, a lot of people, I guess, just have their head in their sand and they're just kind of floating through all this. But perhaps when a certain number is aware of how dark it is, then that's when the turning point will be, when things will actually begin to become lighter. As the saying goes, it's always darkest just before the dawn. And there is always a dawn. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Hoping that you will have a great weekend, that you will love one another, take care, and insist on liberty.